Melanie here from Melanie's Muses, where I muse about things in the entertainment world that are entertaining to me, and sometimes a few weird and random other videos too. But hopefully whatever I'm musing about, you guys stay along for the ride. Today I'm back with another author interview, and I'm delighted to welcome author Aimee Shaye. Hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Aimee
You?
Shaye. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Aimee, do you want to tell my muses a little bit about what you write and what kind of things you're doing at the moment?
Sure. So I write fantasy, epic fantasy, high fantasy, paranormal fantasy, and mythological fantasy. I have
All
a
the
lot
fantasies.
of books in the works.
All the fantasies.
Yep, all the fantasies. I try my best to keep them clean because I have younger nephews who really like to read my books. Even though they're new adults, usually the characters are in their 20s, at most 30, but my nephews love reading them, so I keep them clean for them.
That's all right. I mean, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. There was a big thing a few years back when new adult books were coming out, and people don't always realize that new adult literally refers to the age of the protagonist. So it doesn't mean you're going to get lots of sexy stuff or any sexy stuff in the book. It's literally like if your protagonist is, I think it's 18 to 25 that technically counts as new adult, then that's it. It's got nothing to do with, but everyone was like, oh, new adult, super sexy. It's like, no, that's not how this works. So my muses, as you saw up on the website, they had some questions for you. So if you're cool, we're going to jump right in with that. If there's any other things that come up, just feel free to interrupt me because I can go on a little bit.
Absolutely. I can rant too, so we're good.
Love it. That works for me. Okay, so let's see. Where should we start? Okay, so Susan Harris, this is a question that comes up a lot because a lot of my authors have music playlists. When you are writing, do you write to music? Or do you need silence, or what do you listen to?
It really depends on the mood that I'm in. So if I'm having a really good day, I can just go off, right, in silence, TV blaring, whatever it is. If I am having like writer's block, not a really good day, I have to listen to music that goes with the setting of my book. The Cursed Kingdom series is set in a world that is inspired by Indian, Turkish, Roman, and Greek cultures. Nice. So it's very like European, but like also Asian, and just like my whole hybrid thing that I did.
Love it.
So my music went between Turkish music to like old Indian music on the sitar. So it really was like all over the place.
Now, do you have playlists that will go with your book? Do you like store things, or you just like go on and hit whatever you happen to want to listen to at that time?
I kind of just go on and hit like whatever I want to listen to, but readers have been asking for playlists, so it's something I'm going to have to make.
Well, I will tell you right now, music is a big part of the Muser thing, and not just with authors, but they do love it. It's one of the questions that always comes up. Do you have a playlist? Do you have, I can tell you right now, Spotify playlists are the way to go. It's like, absolutely, just do it. Just add, and you can just add the songs, like as you're listening to them, just add, and you can be like, here's my playlist. Nice and easy.
That's a great idea. I'm going to get right on it.
Yeah. Thanks, Susan, for that one. Susan Harris, who is an author, but she also runs my website, and she does all of that. She runs the Spotify for me, and she does all the playlists. So I sound like I know a lot, but really it's Susan. Okay, so I'm going to stick with like the writing theme to start with, and then we'll get into some of the more in-depth ones. Marcy Robinson would like to know, do you nibble on snacks while you are writing?
Yeah,
and if so,
chocolate and popcorn.
Chocolate and popcorn?
Chocolate and popcorn.
I'm a big fan of the salt and like sweet and salty, the chocolate. I like chocolate and chips, so you know, I get it. Oh, and then her next one was what some of your favorites. So yeah, popcorn and chocolate. Do you have a particular chocolate that you like to go with your popcorn?
I love Snickers and popcorn. I love nuts. It's like that sweet and salty all together.
Does it not get stuck? It don't like Snickers. They have like doesn't that get stuck in your teeth? Oh, I think I'd be forever picking it out my teeth. I really do.
No, it doesn't get stuck, and you really got to pick at it. But you know what? It's worth it.
Okay, Jamie Cross would like to know, what is one thing you would say you've learned about yourself since you started writing?
Oh, that's a tough one, but I think I've learned about myself that I love to give scenery details. It's something that has been pointed out during my writing courses at Southern New Hampshire University, where they're like, use your setting, don't just jump in and describe your setting. So I'm really learning that I have to have my characters walk around and touch things, feel things, and not just be like, it was a beautiful, dreary day and the rain was pouring outside.
You know, it's really funny that you say that. I did an interview with Kim Alexander. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but I did an interview with her, and she said one of the things her editor is always saying to her is like, she has a habit of, she's very good at the dialogue, but she just plops her character like in a room, and they're like, the editor's like, I'm sure you have stuff going around in the room, you know, or maybe there's some chairs or something. And as a reader, I think I'd probably notice if it wasn't there, but that's when the editor's like jumping and say, oh, you need to pull this in. Do you have, this is my question now. Do you have like a favorite type setting? You mentioned dreary weather. Are you the kind of person that likes everything sort of dark and ominous? And
yes, I love dramatic. So whether it's like a dramatic rain or dramatic sunrise with like bursts of purples and pinks, like I go for the dramatic.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the dramatic, obviously. Yeah, I just wondered because your go-to there was like dreary, and I was like, okay, I wonder, just, you know, because you're a new to me author as well. I mean, you're probably new to a lot of my muses, but you're new to me as well, so it's fun for me because I get to like dissect things.
Right,
you ready for another question?
Sure.
Oh, you said you do a lot of fantasy and lots of various fantasies. Ashley Brolinsky would like to know, if you could design your own palace, what would it look like?
Oh, it would, okay, let's just start with, it would be black. Okay, like it would be black with those beautiful Gothic ceilings and the Gothic architecture of Notre Dame. That's the base that I would want it to be. High towers, very pointy towers that go up to the sky. I would just go all out with it. Inside would have like really high ceilings with like painted murals on them, marble floor, those two the two staircases that like meet in the middle, like that would be fun.
So you can make the big dramatic entrance and you come down the staircase and over the top gown. I think I could live in your castle. That sounds pretty cool. I could live there. I could see myself at home there. I mean, I've already got crowns. I've got crowns.
Yeah, my characters have dramatic castles too, so.
Love it. So you just pinch one of theirs, but I'm taking your castle. Thank you. I think if I don't write, but I think if I did, I'd have to write like what I wanted and just give it to my characters.
Yep, pretty much.
So I'm going to stick with Ashley for a second because she would like to know what books sparked your love of reading, and were they the same books that inspired you to write?
So my books are so far out there because I read all genres. Mm-hmm. But my fantasy one started with the Blue Blood series by
Melissa. Yep.
She really was like my gateway into like young adult vampires, and then from there it was Twilight, which I think was a lot of gateway fantasy for a lot of people, and Sherilyn Kenyon's Dark Hunter series.
Okay. It's interesting that you put Twilight in the fantasy type thing, because to me that's more like paranormal romance. I don't really think of that, I guess, as fantasy. I suppose technically it is. I mean, they all sparkle, so. But yeah, but I think Twilight was definitely a step in. Now, I got to ask you, if you like the Twilight, did you read Midnight Sun?
I am in the midst of reading it, yes.
Okay, no spoilers. So I'll leave that because I did a big thing about Midnight Sun and I'm always itching to talk about it which is kind of hard without spoilers. But yeah, so when you get done, buzz me and let me know what you think.
I definitely will. For sure.
So Vicky Storch would like to know, do you do anything to celebrate after you finish a book? And she says she asked this because she remembers Susan making a comment once. She always bought herself something new when she finished a book. So do you have any like end of book rituals or anything? Or
Yep, Seagram strawberry daiquiri, and we have steak dinners.
Steak dinners, okay. So there's the Seagrams one, like my daughter loves those. She likes the Jamaican me happy ones, the really pink ones.
Yes.
But I'm a fan of the strawberry daiquiri one. I could definitely get behind that one.
My brother's a huge fan of the Jamaican me happy.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a bit pink for me. I'm not really
same
drink person. Okay, Jennifer Bonell would like to know, if you could live in any fictional world, which would you choose? Now, she doesn't specify whether it has to be your fictional world or any fictional world. So just go for it, whatever you want to go for.
I would love to live in Westeros. I mean, I know Game of Thrones is like, why would you want to live in a war zone, right? But hear me out. I love Dorne. So if I could just wear their outfits all the time and just like mind my own business, that would be perfect.
Okay. Good luck surviving that. That's all I'm going to say on it. Like, people at Dawn did not do very well on that show. I mean, that's probably the worst one out of all of them. I mean, I think they pretty much all died.
Yeah, they pretty much all died. But if I could just like mind my own business and kind of sneak in and be like, survive, be the lone survivor, that would be fine.
That would be hilarious. Yeah. If you could do it, do it, yeah. Okay. I mean, it was very pretty, and I don't know. I don't think that would be the one that I picked, though. I think I would definitely.
What would you pick?
For a fancy, where would I? I really think probably Ballybran, which is going way back. Anne McCaffrey and the Crystal Singer books. I think Ballybran, because I always figured I'd be a Crystal Singer. Don't ask me why. I mean, but I just figured I would be. And then she had her Pern series, which is more well known with the dragons. So then I decided at some point I would be a crystal singing dragon rider, which doesn't exist because these two worlds are in completely different things. But yeah, so I think Ballybran. I think Ballybran is somewhere I could definitely, I see myself. And no one knows where it is, so they would be able to find me. So I'd be good. It'd be nice and quiet.
Oh, there you go. That's even better.
And there you go. So yeah, that's where I would go. That's where I would be. So I'm going to go back to Vicky. She wants to know, if you were stuck on an island. Now, I asked this one because it ties in with my answer to the other one. If you were stuck on an island and could only have one book, what would it be?
Oh, wow. My book would be Sticks by Sherilyn Kenyon. That would be my book.
That's part of a series, though, right?
It is part of a series, but he's my favorite character, and I really love his story. Because I don't want to give any spoilers, but it is just so much about like second chances and really meeting the love of your life. And I think I could just reread it for days and days and days.
I've read some of those, but I can never remember which ones I've read and which ones I haven't. So Gladys sent me a whole bunch of them at one point, and I did read like a whole set, and then I can't remember which ones I read and which ones I didn't.
Yeah, there's so many. There's like 26 now, 28 maybe.
There's a lot in that series, like a lot. Which is nice if you're looking for a new series and you haven't got there, you can just start and you've got all these books ready to go. That's how I feel with Laurel K. Hamilton. She's like my go-to with the big series, and J.D. Robb as well. But yeah, see, I have one book, and it's kind of a cheap book because it's the Crystal Singer trilogy, but I have it as one book. I mean, this book is like falling apart now, so that would be mine, and it's like the trilogy, but it's one book, so I'm arguing that counts as one book, and I've posted it in game posts and parties and things because it's something. That's my book. I dare you to. I'll fight you for it. All right, what else we got? Okay, here's a good one from Susan Harris. Is there any book where you have just thought, well, damn, I wish I'd written that?
Oh, yes. Inkheart by Cornelia Funk.
Yeah.
I wish I had written that, because that was just pure genius, that they read these books and like the stories come to life, and oh my God, I wish I had been that author.
Just wish that had come into you. Yeah. But then you wouldn't have your book. So
that's true.
Everyone has their own voice, but yeah, I can see that. I feel that I wish I'd written almost all the books that I really like. So this is why I don't write, because I would just have to steal everybody else's ideas and not the original. All right, we're going to step away from books for a little bit. Oh, no, we're going to do one more book question. Do you have any weird writing quirks? Jamie Cross would like to know.
I have a ton of folders on my hard drive, if that qualifies as quirks.
I think that depends what's in the folders. So what's in these folders?
So I have a folder that has my pen name, which is Aimee Shaye. In the folder, I have all the genres: epic fantasy, high fantasy, paranormal, mythological. In those folders, I have the names of each series that I'm writing for those genres. And then in the series folders, I have each book name in a different folder. And then in each book folder, I have separate documents.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely getting on the quirky side. I mean, I was with you right up until like the fourth layer of folders. I'm like, okay, we're a little bit folder happy here right now. It's like, yeah, I would definitely say that counts as a quirk. That is a lot. I'd be so irritated. Oh my goodness, I can't even imagine looking at your hard drive. Okay, I want to get to this folder. Click, 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 click. To get to the document, I go, man, I'd be sorry, my computer. No,
but it's organized, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm not big on it being organized. All right, we're gonna jump around a little bit because Dana Stevenson, my muses don't always stick to book things. They like to know all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So Dana would like to know, who is your Disney person? If you have a Disney person, you might not have a Disney person. Who would you say is your Disney person?
I would say Belle is my Disney person.
Okay, yeah, I can totally. The library.
Yep, the library. And my wedding was also Beauty and the Beast themed. So I had like the whole ball gown. Yep. I had the whole ball gown, but it was white. My girls were in yellow. My boys were in navy blue. My husband had the tails suit, tuxedo with him with a gold vest. It was
you went all Beauty and the Beast. Oh, yes. That is awesome.
Our cake topper. Our cake topper was also Taylor's oldest time. That was also our first dance. And then as guests were served dinner, our guests came on. It was like a whole big thing. Oh, I would definitely, yeah. If you're going to do a theme, do it all or don't bother. You've got to go all in. That's awesome. So you definitely have a Disney person. That wasn't even a split, definitely. So I'm going to stay with Dana because she says Marvel or DC? Marvel. Figures. Everyone's blinking. I'm a DC girl. I'm a DC girl and I'm so in my little minority. And what's really annoying is Disney is doing a really good job with the Marvel stuff, and I'm actually liking some of the Marvel stuff they're putting out, which really goes against everything and my DC principles. So I'm not amused by that. Do you have a favorite Marvel character? Okay, so I have two. Thor, because he's a god who doesn't like Thor, god of lightning. But I also really like Iron Man because of all the technology and the gadgets that he has and his suits. So Avengers then, you're an Avengers. Yeah, the Avengers. Yeah, I didn't watch. I only watched a couple of those, and I absolutely refused to watch the endingy ones because I don't like endingy things, and it drives my husband and my daughter mad. So I'm just like, no. And then we just watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, and they're like, you really need to watch these movies. I'm like, you can just fill me in on the bits that I need to know. I don't need to watch the movies. I'm not going to watch them. So I still haven't. And I hopefully will never have to watch them. So there you go. Okay, let's see. Jennifer Bonner would like to know, which one of your characters is most like you and why? Do you have any characters that you would say are like you? Yes. Aimee from the Cursed Kingdom series. Her book is The Broken Daughter. She is the dutiful daughter who comes off as a little dim-witted and not as intelligent as people think. She's quiet. And so they're like, oh, she's not going to say anything. She's a pushover. She is so far taking it all in, just like biding her time. Now that's part of your Cursed Kingdom trilogy. Am I remembering that correctly? Okay. Very cool. Okay, so you guys, Cursed Kingdom trilogy. If you want to find out what Aimee's character is really like, grab that one. That's the one you got to get. Okay. What do we got here? Let's see what else we got. Okay, Ashley Berlinski said, if you could be invincible for 1 week, what would you do? Oh, man. I would scare my brother silly. That is what I would do. You're invincible, and you're going to use your powers to scare your brother. And that's my whole life, he has scared me, and I have yet to get him back because nothing scares him. But I think a ghost in his house would just scare him. Well, it didn't say invisible. It says invincible. Oh, invincible. Yeah, invincible. So I'm thinking you're going to waste this invincibility. Like, nothing can kill you, and you're going to go, is your brother likely to kill you? Okay. That's a hard one. Yeah. If nothing could kill me, what would I do? I do crazy stuff like jump off buildings. Yeah, I would. Yeah, you know that I'm really usually afraid of heights. I would probably just do all the high stuff. Right, because I knew that I wouldn't get hurt. Because you'd be safe. Yeah, you know you'd be safe, and it wouldn't be an issue. Yeah, I'd like to do the whole skydiving, bungee jumping. See, I've bungee jumped. Roller coasters. I've done bungee jumping, but not skydiving. Was one of those things I always wanted to do and never got around to it.
I would definitely be game for that. So my doctors would probably never clear me to do it now, but I would definitely jump out of a plane. I'm a bit crazy like that.
See, that's what I would do if I was invincible.
I'm with you. Ashley would also like to know, do you speak more than one language?
I do.
Oh, really? Well, okay, what do you speak?
I speak
a backup question in case you didn't.
Yeah, no, I do. I speak Hindi.
Oh, is there another language that you wish you knew as well?
Yeah, I wish I knew Greek.
Is that to go along with your mythological fantasy stuff?
Yes, I did have to learn it. I have like a Greek to English dictionary just to make it really authentic. Because the characters are 10,000-year-old beings from like ancient Greece. But they use the language to this day. So I had to do a lot of research on Greek words. And it's actually funny because I had kindergarten kids who were Greek, and I would just ask them like, hey, how do you say this word?
Hey, can you edit my book for me? How do we do this? Little kindergarten. Oh, I love that. Like, hey, did you give them I hope you gave them a little shout out in the acknowledgements to say, you know.
Oh, I definitely will be once it's re-released.
Okay. Oh, so is that your upcoming one? Is that the assassin one that's coming up? Are they the Greek ones?
The assassin one is vampires, killing vampires. It's really cool.
In one go. Crazy woman. How do you keep them all in your head? You're like Susan Harris, 1,000 series all at once.
Pretty much. I just finished the Cursed Kingdom trilogy, so it's completely done.
So that's done.
But I have 3 more in the works.
Vicky, that's obviously the series for you. One of my muses, Vicky Storch, cannot stand when she has to have all the books together before she can read them. So that's the one for you, Vicky. You need to watch that. Yeah, all set. All the books are there. You're good to go.
Yeah, they're all done.
Yes. Now, so the vampire ones, that's the Shadows and Crow, right? Blood Assassin book 1.
Shadows and Crows. Yeah.
That Vampire Assassins, that's totally my speed. That's going to be my gateway book because I'm all about that. So I'm very excited.
I'm so excited for you to read it.
I didn't see anything about this Greek one. So where's this? My research is failing. Where's this Greek stuff? What book's that?
So I did take them down because years ago, I first published in 2014. So I'm not as new to this as people think. I kind of just took myself away from it for a very long time. Because I followed some really bad advice that was like, your book needs to have this, this, and this, or it's not going to sell. And it changed who I was as an author, and I didn't like it. So I took all of my early works down from that Greek mythology series, and I'm revamping them all.
And putting them back into your voice, I imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I hear that so much. It's really, really sad. The people that just did not get good advice, or authors that were told, you're never going to be an author, you shouldn't bother writing books and whatever. It's like, no, readers can tell. Just you've got to be you've got to write you and stick to what you feel and what you want on the page, and your reader base will find you and will read those, and you shouldn't have to change your voice for anybody. So I'm really glad that unfortunately it's not the first time I'm hearing it. There's so many people out there who think they know everything, and they don't. Stick to your voice. I bet it's fabulous. And I'm glad that you're going to give your kindergartens a shout out, because I think they obviously deserve it.
Oh, absolutely. They've helped so much.
So I'm going to stay with Ashley, because she says, if you're a character in Harry Potter, what would your Patronus be? Now, of course, obviously the first thing is, do you watch Harry? Are you a Harry Potter? Are you a Potterhead or no?
I am a Potterhead.
Okay, so you're all the fans. I love this. You're like all the fandoms. You're like, yeah, I can do all the fandom questions. I'm good.
All the fandoms. It's actually funny because I did that. There's like a quiz that asks like, what is your Patronus? And I'm Hufflepuff.
Okay, so that's your house. Your Hufflepuff house. Your Patronus. What's your Patronus though? Because there's no little quiz to do that. You got to make your own one now. You got to pick.
Yeah, no, there's none for that. I'm gonna have to think back on that.
Okay. See, I'm Slytherin, think about that and I think my Patronus would probably be a crow or a raven.
I could see that.
I think that would be my. I think I'd probably end up just being like really bad anyway.
Maybe a phoenix for me, because I feel like I have been like, like after that whole thing, and I did like tear myself away, and I kind of rose from the ashes, right? And I've made it.
We've got your Patronus right there. So there you go. Hufflepuff and a phoenix. We're good. Love it. What else we got on here? Oh, Vicky would like to know. Vicky, who needs all her books done before she reads them all. She was really mad at me because I gave her a couple series that I recommended, and they aren't all done, and they had cliffhangers. She's not amused. I was like, sorry, Vicky. What is the strangest thing you have done to help create your story? I would say, other than ask your kindergartens for help, I would say that probably is pretty much out there on the weird ass scale of things.
Okay, so the craziest thing I've done is, okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it.
Do it.
I don't know. There's a Turkish drama, a historical drama called Ertuğrul, and it's on Netflix, and it's 500 episodes. I watched it in 2 weeks.
Well, see, that doesn't even sound that crazy to me, because that is by far something I would do. But I'm feeling like I'm going to have to go and look up this series now.
The episodes are like 45 minutes each. There's like 500 episodes. So they're not really that long, but I sat there and I watched all of the action scenes and just took notes. So I have like 2 notebooks full of notes on like different actions to use, different weapons that they used, and like it was crazy.
That's you know what, I don't feel like that. I think that's dedication. That's why I'm going to mark that down. That is dedication to the cause. But then I also have been known to binge watch a lot of crazy TV, so I'm completely on board with that. I don't even think that's that crazy. So we're going to step away completely from books for a minute. Marcy Robinson would like to know, do you have a favorite musical artist? You said earlier you like weird and random music, so
y'all don't judge me for this, but I am a Swiftie.
Oh dear. You're doing so well, Aimee. So well. And
it's so funny because like Swiftie and it's like Taylor Swift and Amy Lee are tied at the top for me, and they couldn't be like complete opposites.
You could have just gone with Amy Lee, and your cool factor would have been.
I'm strange. It's who I am. I can't.
You know what? I'd like to say, I'm sitting here, well, you don't know me that well, but my husband would be like, you're going to sit and judge her musical taste with what you listen to, because my musical taste is all over the place. It's like 80s new romantic kajagoogoo. I like cheesy boy bands, things like E17 and stuff that no one's ever heard of over here. And my husband's like, if he was here, he'd be like, you have no room to be judging anyone. You just hush.
You know, it's actually funny because my iPod is like all over the place. Like it'll go from like Dean Martin to Eminem in a split second, and then it'll go into like Bollywood music, Taylor Swift, hardcore, like Disturbed. It is
now, not that this has anything to do with the questions, but you just said Bollywood music. I know you're a Marvel girl. I don't suppose by any chance you've ever watched Legends of Tomorrow, right? No,
not yet.
There's a Bollywood episode, Amy. You got to watch it.
I have to watch. There you go. That's going to be my gateway episode.
Just watch that one. Just Google the Bollywood episode. My husband hates musical episodes, and he especially hates shows. He doesn't like Legends of Tomorrow to start with. He's just like a lot of eye rolling about that. It is really cheesy. I'm the first to admit that's why I love it. The cheesier stuff is, the happier I am. But he hates more than anything when a non-musical show just feels the need to put this musical episode in. And you can guarantee if there's a musical episode, that is the one that my husband will be around when I'm watching. The Magicians had like one musical episode a season. And I think they were the only episodes my husband ever ended up catching. He's like, why are they always singing on this show? It's like, they're not. It's just like this one episode. But the Bollywood episode is like that. And even worse, I Googled the song. I just had the songs like on the YouTube list, and I just played the songs. And so my husband just hears these crazy songs from the show and is like, no. Why?
I'm so excited now because I want to see what song it is.
There's a bunch. There's several. They do this whole big like musical thing. And the thing is, like, how can I say this without spoiling the whole thing? Like every time that they just go into these big Bollywood, and even the ones that don't want to sing, they're like, why are we singing?
Oh wow, that's amazing.
It's so good. Definitely watch it. And they go all out, costumes and everything, and it's fabulous. Because Bollywood is, some of the stuff that they do is so technical and so complex, and even like the slightest change in finger movements and everything portrays a completely different message. And I love that. I find that absolutely fascinating, and I was so excited when Legends of Tomorrow did, and they did it really well. I think they did it really well. So now you can watch it. I can't wait to
see it. Bollywood dancing is actually one of my talents.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my family is mixed. So my dad is Guyanese Indian. My mom is Italian Polish. So we grew up with like the best of like 15 different worlds in this family.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it always looks very, very technical to me. I mean, I have a dance background, but not in Bollywood, and I've seen it, and I know that like even the slightest change in like hand positions means something completely different.
Yes.
So was it difficult to learn, or because you did it for like, so you just, it's like all the films.
You know, it started out with, I was watching Bollywood movies, and we would kind of always watch the same 4 or 5. This is when DVDs had first came out. So they weren't like, you couldn't find them just everywhere, especially Bollywood. Yeah. It's very like rare that like you would have to drive like into Queens from like Brooklyn, which is, it's not a far drive, but it's like just doing that every weekend to buy movies. So we would always rewatch what we had.
Right.
It got to the point where I would stand in front of the TV and dance along with the girls and just kind of learn the words and the dance moves.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of musical. Like musical episodes, musical things, musical anything is, and my husband not so much. But my daughter's inherited that from me. She's very much into musicals and that kind of thing. But I love it. All right. So Marcy says, do you have a favorite hockey team? Marcy, what is with the sport? I don't watch any sports. Why do you I guess Marcy wants to know, do you have a favorite hockey team?
I don't watch sports, but I have to be an Islanders fan because that's what my family roots for. Okay. Because they're like one of the New York teams. So I don't really watch it, but
when it came to the sports ball, I'd be like, I couldn't even list a hockey team. So I could do the big ones like the American football. I've got most of those down. But hockey, no. And then obviously I'm from England and everything's football, as you guys call it, soccer. So those teams are good. Right. And then I watch tennis. But yeah, not hockey. I couldn't name, good for you, I could not name a hockey team.
I'm a huge baseball fan. I was actually the only girl on a boys baseball team growing up. It was like when they were first integrating. I'm a New York Mets fan. So if anybody wants to know.
Yeah, okay, I'm sure there are. I'm sure I know we have some baseball.
New York Mets fan.
I know we have some baseball people. I cannot understand baseball, and there's actually a story that keeps popping up in my memories. When my daughter was younger, I mean, she was in elementary school, so it was quite a while back, that her school was singing the national anthem at our local Red Wings team game. So we went down to watch it, and I'm sitting there, I'm trying to watch it. I'm like, okay, these rules are not like the rules on the Wii. I played baseball on the Wii, and these rules are not matching. And my husband's like, well, why would they? Well, if you're going to have a game, you get a video game based on an actual game, why would the rules not match? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I was so stuck on this, and the people around were absolutely laughing because I was so stuck on this idea that why are these rules not matching? I think this is stupid. Why don't I even bother playing it on the Wii if they're not going to match up on this?
Yeah, no, they don't match up on the Wii.
They don't match up even a tiny little bit. So did the people at Wii just sit around and go, oh, we can make a baseball game, but we'll just make our own rules up. We don't need to follow baseball rules. I mean, it's not like it's a real game. It's insane to me. And I know I can't get behind baseball. And I know it's America's pastime, whatever. I just know it just does not work for me. Nope. All right, what else have we got on here? How did those? Did that. Ooh. Oh, when you write your books, what tends to come first, the plot or the characters? That is from Vicky Storch.
I guess it's like another quirk because I have kind of OCD about how I do this. I plot first and then I do the characters, and that's how I do it for every single book. So my plot may be about 15 to 20 pages. With every scene has like a paragraph of all the major things that want to happen in each chapter. And then
you're a major plotter. No pants till then.
Yeah, no pantsing at all. So like if it changes, that's fine. Like I'll go along with it, but then I have to make that change in my outline to show that there was like a change that I made.
Wow. I think you are the biggest plotter that we've had in these interviews. I mean, some people are one or the other, but not plotting like that. That's like major plotting, I think.
Yep. And then my character questionnaires, I have taken the Gotham Writers Workshop questionnaire that they have, plus the Probst questionnaire, and I kind of just put them together into one major questionnaire. It's about 5 to 6 pages long, and I fill in the answers in my character sheet. So I don't even use my own voice. I use it like my character's talking. And like I even have questions on it, like what's in your character's refrigerator, what's in their trash bin, just to get their little quirks down, because those little details can matter later on down the line.
Now, I will agree with that. The details definitely matter, but I don't think I've ever spoken to anyone who puts that much details in like beforehand.
Yep.
It's like come up as they go along. Here we go. This is from Susan Harris, and this is completely a dig at me, and I know it's a dig at me. What is your least favorite part of the writing process, and how easy do you find it to name characters?
Okay, so my least favorite part is the middle.
Okay.
Like the beginning is so easy to build up that tension and get it to where I want. And then the ending is so easy because now I'm like coming down, like, okay, this is a great ending. But it's having all of that rising tension because it has to rise and fall, rise and fall. Yeah. And then it's like, how much is rising? How much is too much falling? Like that middle is always wonky for me. And then character names for me tend to be very easy. It's kind of weird. I feel like I have like little voices in my head who are just like, knock, knock, Aimee, my name is, and now you're going to tell my story.
See, that works. Susan's mistake is she asks me what I think of a name. And if you're going to ask me what I think, then you're going to get an opinion. And I veto so many names. And like literally, I just willed the veto. I veto. And there's so many names that I have issues with that I didn't even know I had issues with until she's like sends it a suggestion and then it becomes an issue. So I know for a fact that is a little dig at me because naming her characters is so hard, but it's her fault. She keeps giving me the option. If you're gonna give me the option to veto it and I don't like it, I'm gonna veto it. Whereas if you just present me with a book and here are the character names, then I kind of stuck with it.
Right.
So that's on her.
Yeah. I don't like using like real names. I usually try to think of just like unique names, or I'll like smash two names together because then I'm like, oh, I don't like that girl, or oh no, she bullied me in high school. So and
that is my issue. I come over and go, oh no, I knew someone with that name and they were really annoying. Oh, that's a character in this series and they're really annoying. That's my issue. I was like, yes, no, I can't be doing with it.
I can't use regular names.
See, that's why you don't have issues. Susan, when you watch this back, there you go. There's your answer right there. I think I got through most of them. Oh, Jennifer Bolnow, I did miss one. What book or books do you reread?
I reread Lord of the Rings so much that the spine is like broken.
Do not get that. You know, so many authors come on the Lord of the Rings. I'm like, I can't do the Lord of the Rings. I mean, I get told it's blasphemy. I can't do Lord of the Rings. It's just, I don't know why. Tolkien just doesn't work for me.
It is. I actually had to analyze it for my last class.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And so for it, I actually, because we were looking at it from like a writer's point of view instead of like a reader's point of view. And it was like, why is there so much details? And it's like, why? Like this could have just been easily woven in throughout the book. So there is a lot of that you have to get past. But I really love to read it because of the world building and like the character development. So I kind of look past those little details that could have been put in other places.
Okay. I know. I read The Hobbit. I've read The Hobbit several times, and I don't know but I know this Lord of the Rings is such a big thing, and I don't know, just not for me, I guess. So
it's okay. It happens.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so huge thank you to Aimee for being here with me today. It was fabulous to meet you. Guys, I will put all of Aimee's links in the description for the video. Make sure you're checking everything out. As always, huge thank you if you stuck around to watch this video. I know you guys are loving the author interviews. I hope you enjoyed this one. I certainly enjoyed meeting Aimee and finding a little bit more about you. And we're going to be checking out that Vampire Assassin series. That is on my list. Please make sure you do all the fun YouTube things. Like, comment, and subscribe. Especially comment. Let us know what you think about Aimee's answers. If there were any questions you didn't get a chance to ask, please drop them in the comments and I'll make sure Aimee sees them. And I'm sure she won't mind popping over and answering them. If you think I look like a fun person to talk with, obviously I am. Make sure you're joining me every Sunday, noon Eastern time on Facebook. I'm live with my husband, Greg. You'll see him in the outtakes if you haven't watched one of my videos before. He's hilarious. But we have giveaways. We talk books, TV, movies. We have whatever we feel like. It's literally a free-for-all every Sunday, noon Eastern time on Facebook. And of course, make sure you're going to my website, melaniesmuses.com, for all things music related. We have book reviews, feature articles, guest articles, more giveaways, you name it, it's up there. And if it's not up there now, it will be soon because new things are being added every single day. And last but not least, make sure you click that notification bell so you never miss when I have a video up. Only things you can count on for 2021 are Melbourne Mondays, Forgotten Feature Fridays, author interviews on a Wednesday, Zoom interviews in general on a Wednesday when I have them available, and weird and random other videos when I think of them, when they pop into my head, or by request. Something you want to see, let me know. And with that, hope to see you next time. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
I'm just going to have to fix this because it's driving me nuts. This one keeps like slipping back and I don't know why. It's the trouble with wigs. All annoying. Right, so we did that one. What else we got? Oh,
yeah, I always have a wine cooler. So Strawberry Daiquiri by Seagram's is my favorite. And that is how we celebrate. And we have a steak dinner.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you want to pop round and say hi as you just clumped downstairs? This is Aimee Shaye.
Aimee Shaye.
Aimee Shaye. This is my husband, Greg. This is where we end up with outtakes.
Hi, how are you?
You didn't come down and speak to Kristen this morning.
I didn't. I was just saying we're running up to the Home Depot real quick to meet him.
Oh, okay.
I just gotta grab a couple things. We'll be right back.
Okay. Have fun.
You too.
That's my husband. This is what it's really good when he pops out, we just like cut that out, put it at the end. My Muses are completely used to it because he's live with me every week on Sunday, so absolutely.
My husband usually pops in and out of my interviews too, but he's at work at this point, so that's okay.
Okay, so let's try that again. You said you at the end you get Seagram's Strawberry Daiquiri. So what authors do you read? Like generally, do you have favorite authors, like go-to authors?
Yeah, so of course, Sherilyn Kenyon. Like I will read everything of hers. I actually own her entire collection. I'm not missing not one book. I own it all. Like I own like the Dark Hunter series. I own all the books in the Chronicles of Nick, and I own all of the books in the League series as well. And Dead Man's Cross is on my list. Yep, like everything she has. I also really like Melissa De La Cruz. I'm still building her library though. I don't have everything. Mostly because for whatever reason, I thought the Blue Bloods ended at 4 books. And then I realized that there's like 7 or 8.
Okay. I didn't know that. I thought there was only like 3 or 4 in that series, but then I started them and then I went off on I got very wrapped up in the indie world. And so for several years, other than what publishers were sending me, I was pretty much reading, I'd say 90% indie authors. And then I've sort of like gradually got back into a few more mainstream things now that I'm mainly doing my own stuff. But yeah, no, I had no idea about that.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe there's like a spin-offs books. Maybe they're not like part of the main series.
Maybe?
But I had no idea because I used to get my books from BJ's when they used to sell books on that like huge table they had. And then I would just get them like week after week. And then like suddenly they just weren't there anymore. So it was weird.
So I have to look that one up because I have no idea about that one. Usually I can be like, oh yeah, you know, there's these number of books. No idea. We watched the new version of The Invisible Man, and there are a few scenes in that where it's like, whoa, you know, you think you know everything that's going to happen, and then something just like smacks you up the side of the head, and it's crazy, and you get no warning. I love that when you get no warning and something happens. It's like, yes, do that. But you have to watch Legends of Tomorrow now because you need to check out the Bollywood stuff.
I do need to check out the Bollywood stuff. That sounds really cool.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, a lot of the stuff that was done, now there's a lot of things like they could go hardcore cable and they can do a lot more stuff now that was acceptable. I mean, language things are changing. The violence levels are changing. I mean, perfect example is Mortal Kombat that they just redid. They sort of took the PG-13 stuff. I mean, that was just a design. Why would you make PG-13 Mortal Kombat? Actually, I know why.
When the game is like made mature anyway.
Right. I actually know the answer to this because I did an article on it recently. Apparently, when they did Mortal Kombat, the PG-13 version, the original cut was a lot more violent and had a lot more blood and gore and everything else. And for whatever reason, the movie network was like, no, we have to make this PG-13 because our key demographic is going to be teenage boys. It's like, you definitely got that one wrong because teenage boys shouldn't really even be playing this. And if they are, their parents will probably be taking them to the movie theater anyway. So yeah, that's how the PG-13 one came about. And then obviously the new one is, have you seen the new one?
I haven't yet, but it's on our list to watch this weekend.
Okay, I love it. I mean, I'm probably in the minority with that, but everyone's like, oh yeah, they tried to do the backstory. I don't care about the backstory. Just go on the field and fight. That's what I want. Just fight, blood, guts, gore. Correct.
Yep.
I'm not watching the Mortal Kombat movie for a story. Let's just be honest here. No one is really watching that movie for a story.
No, we're watching it for the violence.
Watching it for the violence. Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask, what are you watching? You said you binged all those episodes on Netflix. So what are you watching right now? Are there any series that you're watching right now? Obviously, you have
right now. We're not really watching any series, but we've been into watching Tamil and Marathi films. They're really, really interesting. They're not like fantasy. They've been like thrillers, like murder mysteries and things like that. But there's a lot of twists and turns. Like they're not like your American movie where you know what's going to happen right from the beginning. Like last night we were watching this movie where the father-in-law, like when it opens, he like fell off a ledge. So we were like, okay, he probably just fell, tripped, whatever. The cop goes through like 4 different scenarios and makes you think that he's the nab, the killer every time. And then the end is just like, whoa, you never saw it coming. Like, I don't want to give it away.
I love that. No, I love that. Yep. So how do you feel about TV series from books? Fan or not fan?
I am a fan if done well. Like, I think Shadow and Bone wasn't terrible.
Okay, no spoilers. I haven't watched Shadow and Bone yet.
No, I'm not going to give any spoilers. I actually thought it was pretty good as far as, like, I've seen things flop, and that definitely wasn't a flop.
Okay.
So I enjoyed it.
Can you think of one that you didn't enjoy that was either books, TV, or?
I want to say one that I didn't enjoy was, oh my gosh, the name is like eluding me now. Because I just like I refuse to watch it. Oh, The Legend of the Seeker.
Okay, yeah. That got really
bad. I was watching it, like I read it and I was like, this is nothing. Like, I guess they really had to tone it down for TV, don't get me wrong, but they need to do a reboot.
Today I'm back with another author. This is where edits come in really handy. Well, Aimee, thank you so much for coming to chat with me. Do you have any questions you want to ask me that we can just stick in the outtake bits?
Yeah, I'm just like thankful that you were able to do this, especially with everything that like happened. Like the universe is like, no, this is not happening today.
That is never ever an issue. I understand that real world things come up, and family always takes precedent over things like this. Like, we can always reschedule. There's always options to reschedule and to like do anything like that. We'll make it work. Always here to make it work.